All right, it's another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 running backs for Week 12. But before we get started, let's just recap how we did on last week.
We had a great week. We had DeAndre Swift at number 9. So if you take him out of the remaining 29 running backs in our top 30, we hit on 21. So 21 of 29. Boom, boom, boom. And we had 14 of the top 16. And if you really want to get down to it, of our top 12, we got 6 players that were in the actual top 12. So it was a strong week. We had a strong week all around with quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and even tight ends. Week 11 was very helpful. At least our videos should have been very helpful to everyone.
All right, well, we're running on all cylinders. Hope everybody else is too. So let's get started for the top 30 running backs for Week 12. The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
And number 1, Dalvin Cook, home against Carolina. Number 2, Nick Chubb at Jacksonville. Nick Chubb starting to catch fire, Ryan.
Yeah, Nick Chubb is the number 6 running back in standard leagues on a per-game basis. He doesn't catch many passes. He just runs all over people. Also, Chubb has over 100 rushing yards in 4 of the last 6 games he played this season, including the last 2 games.
Yeah, since he's returned from injury, it's been 100 yards. Against Jacksonville, expect that trend to continue. And number 3, Alvin Kamara at Denver. Number 4, Derrick Henry at Indianapolis. Tough defensive matchup, but Derrick Henry gets the touches and can't stop him. And number 5, Ezekiel Elliott, home against Washington. Zeke is back in the top 5. Ryan?
Well, Ezekiel Elliott's a little bit confident. He came out and stated that he feels like Dallas is right where they need to be. But to get into the stats, he's the 6th running back in standard leagues despite all the issues with the Dallas at quarterback and the offensive line. He has 924 total yards, 7 total TDs, and they have a great schedule other than Week 13 for the rest of the season.
Could help carry some teams to a championship. And number 6, Aaron Jones, home against Chicago. Tough defensive matchup, but Green Bay offense is booming, and Aaron Jones is almost always good for a touchdown. And number 7, Josh Jacobs at Atlanta. Las Vegas loves to give the ball to Josh Jacobs. He gets plenty of carries. And this week he has a good matchup. Ryan?
We all know that the Atlanta defense isn't that good. Overall, they're ranked 29th. They're 31st against the pass and 10th against the rush. He should be able to run all over them just because that Atlanta defense isn't that good.
And number 8, we have Mike Davis. Or if Christian McCaffrey plays, Christian McCaffrey right here. But we think it's going to be Mike Davis again at Minnesota. And Mike Davis has been very good. Very productive. And number 9, another guy that's productive. Too bad he's just on such a bad team. But James Robinson, home against Cleveland. He's been getting consistent touches. He's really all they have. And number 10, Chris Carson at Philadelphia. Welcome back, Chris Carson. We'll see how healthy he is. And number 11, Miles Sanders, home against Seattle. It's a good matchup for Miles Sanders. And number 12, Antonio Gibson at Dallas. Even in a bad offense, Gibson has been consistent, has scored touchdowns, is getting touches. And that Dallas defense, we all know, isn't very good. And number 13, Todd Gurley, home against Las Vegas. Good matchup for Todd Gurley. He had been a touchdown machine earlier in the season. Things are slowing down for him. I hope this is not a trend that continues. And number 14, Kareem Hunt. Again, we talked about the great matchup at Jacksonville. Yeah, Nick Chubb is here, but there's enough touches for Kareem Hunt. We expect him to do well. At 15, James Conner, home against Baltimore. The Steelers have been playing well. I mean, they're undefeated. Conner is their number 1 back. We expect them to get a good amount of touches. And number 16, Gus Edwards at Pittsburgh. We know this game is in danger of maybe not being played, maybe being postponed. But if they do play, Ingram won't be playing. J.K. Dobbins won't be playing. Gus Edwards will be the number 1 guy. But Gus Edwards will get enough touches to make him viable in Week 12. And number 17, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at Tampa Bay. Tough matchup, but KC offense is amazing. Ryan?
Yeah, this week it's going to be interesting because Clyde Edwards-Helaire only had 14 attempts in the last game, and Le'Veon Bell had 7 attempts. So they're going against Tampa, that's ranked number 1 against the rush. So it's going to be interesting to see how many touches they give each back.
Yeah, but for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to be more dependent on touchdowns. He had 2 in week 11. If he can just get 1 in week 12, I think fantasy owners will be happy. And number 18, we have Salvon Ahmed at the New York Jets. It's a great matchup. Ahmed's looked good 2 weeks in a row. Unfortunately, last week, Tua didn't do much to help him. That offense looked like it was a little off. But against the Jets, everything should come back to order. And if Ahmed gets the touches, he's shown he can produce. And number 19, Wayne Gallman at Cincinnati. Gallman is a bad back. Daniel Jones is a bad quarterback. But they're playing the Bengals. They're playing the Bengals without Joe Burrow. This is a team that's not going to move the ball. It's not going to be able to stop them. If there's 1 week for that Giants offense to look good, it's this one. And number 20, Raheem Mostert at the LA Rams. The Rams that's a tough defense, and we'll see if Mostert even plays. Everything points to him playing. If he does, the guy's a stud, even against a tough defense. At 21, Kenyon Drake against New England. I like Kenyon Drake this week. He's very explosive, though. All he needs is 1 or 2 big plays. And number 22, Damien Harris, home against Arizona. He's been good. He's been solid. Is Cam Newton going to be able to hang with Kyler Murray? If he does, Damien Harris will get his touches, and we'll have a good game. Number 23, Ronald Jones, home against Kansas City. Ronald Jones just had a bad game against the Rams, but that's a tough front 7. Number 24, Jonathan Taylor, home against Tennessee. Finally, Frank Reich decided to give Jonathan Taylor the ball. We hope that trend will continue, but man, Reich has been so hard-headed with this whole Hines and Wilkins, and just give the ball to Jonathan Taylor already. And number 25, Melvin Gordon, home against New Orleans. He almost scored a 3rd touchdown. Fumbled at the 1-yard line. That's kind of an aberration. I don't think it's going to happen again. And he's up against a tough defense, but Melvin Gordon still deserves to be in our top 30. And number 26, Zack Moss, home against the Chargers. We will see how the whole Zack Moss Singletary thing goes, but it's been leaning towards Moss. Unfortunately, Buffalo hasn't run very much in the last couple of weeks. We'll see if that changes this week, and if it does, Zack Moss will do well. At 27, Kalen Ballage at Buffalo. Decent matchup. We don't know if Kalen Ballage is 100%, and Justin Herbert is back there. Ryan?
Yeah, it seems like they're going to him a lot more. He's heating up, getting a lot more touches. And this week they're going against Buffalo, that's ranked 28th against the rush. I think this is going to be a good chance for him to kind of show what he can do if he plays.
And number 28, we have Leonard Fournette, who will be home against Kansas City. Leonard Fournette catches balls out of the backfield. That was his thing. He dropped a few passes against the Rams. Hopefully he can get that patched up. And number 29, Chase Edmonds and New England. Chase Edmonds could get his catches and get that 1 touchdown, which will vault him in the top 30. So that's why we have him at 29. And number 30, Duke Johnson at Detroit. Good matchup. That offense is doing well. Duke Johnson is the number 1 guy. Barely squeezes into our top 30. And there you have it. Our top 30 for week 12.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing your rankings for the top 30 running backs for week 12. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing. I know it helps me.
Good luck to everyone. We're getting close to those fantasy playoffs. I'm excited.